Hey guys, don't worry. They are not, absolutely not coming after your kids. I know that they're not coming after your kids because they say they're not coming after their kids, even though they only seem to be doing stuff when it comes to underage kids, when it comes to like reading books, I guess to them, that's they do that with the kids in the school. They don't, never with old people or the homeless. There's never like a homeless drag show at like a shelter. It's always at schools, and it's just, and you'd think it was something more like a, one of those bougie state things, like a California, New York thing. But I'm not particularly familiar with the politics of Albuquerque, New Mexico. But as Donald Trump said, we should put a wall around New Mexico because I have enough problem with the old ones. It's a joke. I love Mexicans. But here's what was going on at a high school in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And tell me if you notice anything, weird. Now, I'm trying to figure out how that's even remotely appropriate for underage kids. And I hope that you're trying to figure out the exact same thing. But there seems to be a thing going around with the school system, in particular in the United States and in Canada, where they're protecting a specific class of people. And if, not to be remiss, it's not just one particular school board. That was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, what I'm about to show you right now is from a school board in Pennsylvania. That would be the North Pennsylvania School District. They had a little issue when it came to a female student being attacked by a male student in a change room, I believe. But the male student identified as a female student. That's how the female was attacked by the male student in the change room or the bathroom. And then the school covered it up. And then we had to go resort to seeing these hidden videos that should be much more public, you would think, of parents complaining about how their children are treated at these school boards. But, kind of like the trans community, we can't ever talk badly or allow any negative information come out about school boards unless it's about how they protect straight white kids. But let's just roll it.
A big thing at the end of the day, whether this child who was the attacker has issues or not, a lot of it comes from your policy, your leadership, and what you do or do not accept. I remember at one point you were very focused on everyone has to wear a mask, but you let all these major things go. You let sexual assaults go, you let violence go. And another thing, this was a teenage boy who beat on a little girl. Alright? Call it what it is. I don't care. Don't look at me like that, Mr. Fusco. You're a father. What if that was your daughter? What if that was your daughter?
These are the type of fathers that we need out here. These are the type of fathers that we need. We don't need the fathers that are looking the other way like that guy who was called out in this speech so far. One that would go, it's not my problem. You always need to assess these things when you're parents as, what if it happened to my kid? That's the parent's job to do that. It's the role of people who don't have kids to maybe think a little bit more down the middle. But as somebody who would fall under that category, my thinking right down the middle is that this guy's right. And the people that helped cover up and help protect the attacker simply because of their gender identity, simply because they're afraid of online activists, and frankly, they're afraid of misdiagnosed autistic children yelling and screaming at them for, discrimination or whatever it may be. The focus should be on protecting the kids from anything bad that can happen to them. And it starts with why we have male and female bathrooms and change rooms to begin with. It is to 100% prevent this kind of thing from happening. A bigger child and a smaller child. Now I understand that there are females that are bigger than boys, and that there are, boys smaller than girls. All that kind of stuff is true. We're talking about in a general sense, right? In a general sense. Generally, certain things, if you do certain things and you prevent certain things from happening, you'll have a net positive result. And one of those is keeping boys and girls separate in showers and bathrooms and change rooms. But the schools don't want to do that because they're afraid of the Rainbow Mafia coming after them. And let's continue with this father.
And I'm sorry, I didn't want to be here. I'm here because people reach out to me. I'm here because apparently too many people are afraid to just say that. Men and women are different. All right? Whatever you want to do as an adult, God bless you, that's fine. You have that right. But let kids be kids. Let them make that decision later in life when it's appropriate. All right? Men and women are not the same. Our hormones are not the same. Our strength is not the same. Our aggression is not the same. How come none of the articles said that it was a boy attacking a girl? How come half the people here kept switching between he and she? And again, I have nothing against any type of community, but what's right is right and what's fair is fair, and that's not cool. And if this kid was protected simply because they were trans and not because of any other reason, that's not cool. They have a violent past.
And is that not the truth about basically everything right there? We talk about there being people out there in the world that will use this, we'll call it well-intentioned wokeness, to act out predatorily. We've seen it in the prison system. There have been trans people that have gone into prison who have been caught having sex with female inmates, who have gotten female inmates pregnant. Now, does that sound something that a woman can do? Now, I understand some women can get other women pregnant and some men can get pregnant, and tying myself in knots trying to make this all make sense. I get all that stuff. I get it. But the fact that this guy and so many other people, the fact that I even have to make this video is because there are people out there that for some reason, and they don't not know it, they don't really believe it, they have to pretend that men and women are the same. They have to pretend that. Now, I'm going to say something that maybe the wokesters might actually like. The reason why we should keep males and females separate in change rooms and bathrooms is because it's a known fact that males are more likely to act out violently. We know that males are more likely to act out in a harassing, sexual assault way. We know that's an absolute fact. There you go, wokesters. You got it. Your man-hating is sometimes right. A broken clock is right twice a day. But let's apply that logic. I'm going to grant you that, even though it's a complete fluke. And now let's make policy surrounding it. There you go. But now you're going to argue differently. Now you're going to be talking about, someone's probably going to talk about, oh, but what about Catholic priests? And what about this? Did you know that it's actually a fact that school teachers are more likely to commit a sexual assault per capita on a child than a clergy member? That's an absolute fact. Google's your friend. Go ahead and look it up. It's an absolute fact. Schools are supposed to be the safest place that we send kids all the time. You hear it every time there's a school shooting. Kids are supposed to be safe at school. Why is it that we only talk about kids being safe at school when it comes to them being killed? Why is it not when they're being groomed? Why is it not when they're being harassed? Why is it not when they're being assaulted by certain people that fall under the certain umbrella of a certain community? And then other members of that community who are otherwise really good people stay dead silent about it and refuse for whatever reason to separate themselves from the bad apples of their bunch. I regularly separate myself from the bad apples of my bunch. Straight, white. Hey, if a straight white goes around and is being overtly racist or being, harassing and assaulting people, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to be like, hey, yeah, not one of me. But the LGBTQ AAIP EDO people have been so intertwined with each other and refusing to even call out people within their own community, that how do you expect people to not then associate everyone as being one of the same? Because to me, if you accept it, to me, if you don't call it out and you allow it and you turn a blind eye to it, to me, that just makes you just as big of a problem. Because not only do we need people to not do things, the more realistic thing is to understand that people are going to do things. We need the people that aren't doing it to call it out and to attempt to stop it and to put in a real effort to stop it. And that's just not happening with the rainbow people. And I want to understand why. And I want you to leave your hypothesis in the comment section below as to why you think that is. And I will see you guys next time with the next video. See ya.